Back with us today on Morning Blend is Jamie White Law in Okemos. Jamie, I understand that you're involved in an interesting lawsuit involving Hertz Rent-A-Car. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so in 2015, we actually ran a murder trial for a gentleman named Herbert Alford. And from day one, he insisted that he was the Hertz rental company at the time of the shooting. That was the only thing he really had to offer. So we worked extremely diligently trying to get documents to support that. We subpoenaed Hertz on multiple occasions. Judge Kennedy subpoenaed them. He ordered them to court, and it was just a failure to respond across the board. He ultimately was convicted of second-degree murder and sent to prison. Ultimately, Hertz produced some records in 2018 after he had been in prison for 3 years, which ended up in his conviction being overturned and him being released from prison.
How is he doing now that he's been released from prison?
He's doing okay. He's dealing with some issues. He was in there thinking he was going to be in there the rest of his life. That alone was traumatizing. So he's working through it, and we're going to help him get whole.
Are you skeptical about claims from Hertz that they couldn't find Mr. Alford's rental receipt?
Extremely skeptical. There's no doubt in my mind. They're a litigious company. They rent cars for a business. So there's car accidents and all sorts of things they're dealing with. We know that they do not treat their corporate partners the way they treated Mr. Alford. For that, we're going to hold them accountable.
What's the outcome that you're hoping for Mr. Alford?
Obviously we want to get him some monetary damages so that he can move on with his life. But we also want to send a message to people and businesses that come into our community. If you're going to take money from our citizens, you're going to have to behave appropriately when commanded by the court in whatever shape or form to assist somebody. You can't look the other way. They certainly had their paperwork in order when he was there renting the vehicle.
That's just completely... I can't get my brain around the fact that they refused to produce this documentation. Why wouldn't they do that? And then to brand this man as a killer and send him to prison for 3 years. Imagine the disruption in any of our lives.
Actually 5 years, because he was there for 2 years waiting for the trial to start. So yeah, in my opinion, Hertz looked at this and they saw a man, an African-American man from a poor part of Lansing, charged with murder, presumed he'd be guilty, and just decided that it wasn't worth their time.
10 minutes it might take to come up with some paperwork?
That.
Wow, that's staggering. I appreciate that you're sharing this story with us and informing us about what's happening in our community. Jamie, always a pleasure speaking with you.
Thanks for having me, Deb. Bye.